Aquarius, welcome to May 2020 Astrology and Tarot reading. This is for Aquarius, Sun, Moon and Rising. So Aquarius, we have a lot going on with the air energy, your element. The true node enters Gemini on the 5th. Venus is currently situated in Gemini and will go retrograde on the 13th, one of the biggest aspects of May. Mercury enters its home sign Gemini on the 11th, and then the Sun enters Gemini on the 20th, new moon on the 22nd. And what that reflects for you as a sign is that, well, as well as that Saturn is in your sign and goes retrograde, but we'll get to that, that's very important. It reflects to you as a sign a sense of ease. But May is a fixed sign month. It is Taurus season for the most part, right up until the 20th. The full moon is in Scorpio, and this energy for you can feel quite intensified, particularly emotionally, particularly to do with the way that you feel about your career, your calling, your passion in life, who you are supposed to be. And it can really bring up feelings for you of, what purpose do I have? What do I bring to the world? Who do I want to be in the public eye? And for a lot of you Aquarius, particularly those who are a Saturn in Aquarius, who are going through their return, this is a big time for finding your purpose in terms of the collective, in what you bring to the world. And I think a lot of you could be feeling a bit of pressure there in May. Now, we'll get into the astrology with the cards. One of the things that I want to bring out are these dice. I've been rolling them for the signs. They give a little bit of insight. There's the signs, there are the houses, and there are the planets. So let's see. Okay. Pluto, Aquarius, and the first. That's quite funny because Aquarius is, of course, your first house. See? And then we have Pluto. So, your sign, your sense of self is the biggest aspect that I'm kind of seeing for you. It's funny though. I think this is a lot to do, of course, with Pluto, but also with Saturn, because that is where the Aquarian energy is. So let's get into the cards and see if we can dig anything out a little bit further. Saturn is, of course, your traditional ruler. While you associate very much with the planet Uranus in terms of the unexpected, in terms of rebellion, in terms of surprise, quelle surprise, the planet Saturn is, of course, originally your ruler, and it has bestowed upon you a very strong sense of morality. And Aquarians that have differentiated from that, who have moved away from their own morality, are currently going through a bit of a process whereby that sort of swept under the rug stuff comes out. That's just the way it is with Saturn. When it enters your sign, it's often quite immediate, I find, in terms of showing you what's to come. So you're probably already getting a bit of a feel, Aquarius, for Saturn being in your sign, how you're going to be spending the next couple of years in getting to know yourself. And I think for a lot of you, it is to do with your purpose. It's not as much to do with your relationships with other people, although that is, of course, what you as a sign bring to the world. But let's not forget, you have very strong, strict standings. King of Pentacles. Your ruler Uranus in Taurus. In Taurus season, of course, makes aspects with Mercury. It makes aspects with the Sun. All occurring in your 4th house of home, of sanctuary, of familiarity. And I think for a lot of you that are High Priestess, I think a lot of you that are cooped up at home are feeling very, very, very stuck. I think a lot of you are feeling very, very strong intuition, but a little bit of anxiety surrounding it, not being quite sure how to interpret the messages, possibly flitting between wanting to be a spiritual being, someone who contributes a lot with their spirituality, someone who leads with their intuition, with their emotions, and then the other part of you is wanting to be a leader, wanting to be strong, wanting to be logical, wanting to be scientific. I don't know if any of you have watched the docu-movie Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It's Dr. Stephen Greer, I think his name is. Dr. Steve Greer. And he talks in it about scientists and consciousness, scientists and spirit. You know, scientists that the more they study and the deeper they get into that particular form of research, the more they understand that there is this consciousness that you can tap into the energies of the universe at any time. And a lot of people would say that is woo-woo, and they would base it on science. Ironically, science proves that there is that collective. Very King of Pentacles, very High Priestess. Being drawn between the science, the rationale, and your intuition. Possibly arguing between the two in terms of your next move. Now, Venus is retrograding in your 5th house. Of children, of romance, of creativity, of true love. It is very possible during this time for you in particular as a sign that exes come out of the woodwork, that past people pop up, but for some of you, past creative pursuits also pop up, and you're struggling between where you are now versus where you were, and you're wondering a lot about the progress. For those of you Aquarians that had to move home or have moved in with family, possibly parents, you may very well be struggling with a feeling that you are going backwards, that you are regressing, that you are more than ever uncertain of who you are. Now, for a lot of you, Magician, 6 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, you feel right back at square one in terms of your spiritual journey. That's kind of a sign of a spiritual awakening. You may have returned to what is familiar, and for a lot of you, yes, that is a past love appearing. Magician, 6 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. Someone from the past coming back. I think for a lot of you it's wanted. I think for a lot of you it's manifested. And then I also think for a lot of you this is a love connection that's manifested that feels very pre-ordered. It feels like you ordered this, particularly if it's someone with a lot of fixed energy or an earth sign. We have the earth signs, we have Pisces, we have Gemini, we have the fixed signs, Scorpio, your sign, Aquarius, Taurus, and Leo. Just whenever we talk about signs in these, please don't necessarily impose that meaning on it for certain. It can be the moon, it can be the rising, just an FYI. But I digress. This is about you, right? This is more about you than anybody else. You are going back to basics in a spiritual sense, because Saturn in your sign will do that. It will pull you right back to square one and say, it's like snakes and ladders, and you feel lately like you've gone down this snake back into this certain feeling. You feel like you've regressed. The truth is you have not. The truth is that you're actually further forward than you have ever been at this particular moment in time. Not just in a time as linear sense, in the sense that Aquarius, you've made big karmic shifts. Big. Particularly in matters of the heart. I got a lot of strange feelings regarding my own Aquarian moon lately, and it is kind of this feeling that everything is the same and everything is different. You know, that's kind of the vibe with Magician, 6 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune and the 6 of Cups is such that shoots and ladders, snakes and ladders, whatever you want to call it, when you've just gone straight back down. But the dice rolled in your favor. The dice rolled in your sign. With Venus retrograding in your romantic sector, you are being asked to readdress the way that you see love, the way that you give love, the way that you receive love, the way that you create, the things that you create. Do you create? Do you regard yourself as creative? Aquarians are creative in a genius sense. Aquarians just know the future. Aquarians are able to interpret astrology in such an amazing way. Aquarians are able to work with technology in such an amazing way. Death card. And you are having a moment, Aquarius, of deep rebirth. And the thing that you don't like about that is that it's a sign that rules the future. You're feeling somewhat pulled towards the past and you don't like it. It makes you anxious. It makes you very tense. But this is why you need to know you're not regressing. You're just not. You are forward. You are still moving forward. But you are reflecting at the same time in order to make sense. The star, death and the star side by side means that you, as Aquarius who rules the star, you are rebirthing in a way that Scorpios do. You're having a deep transformation, Ace of Cups. And it is in the way that you love. It is in the way that you feel. I'm going to clarify that Ace of Cups. You are being drawn. There is anxiety. 9 of Swords. And the 3 of Cups. Underneath, 10 of Swords. 8 of Wands, 4 of Cups. Yes, the claustrophobia comes through in May. That is to do with Taurus season more than anything else. It is your 4th house. Okay. A lot of you feel that when Mars enters Pisces, because Pisces is your 2nd house of worth and it is your 2nd house of money, and it's going to make you very, very, very ambitious. It's going to make you want to find value in things. And the way that we are being asked to value things with Uranus and Taurus, your ruler in Taurus, is of course changing. It's shifting the things that we put a lot of value on. You could go through a burst in Taurus season of feeling surprisingly materialistic. And you may feel a little bit insulted by that energy. You may feel a little bit insulted of what it means for the collective, because Aquarius is a sign more than other can spot greed, it can spot misconduct, it can spot the way that the financial system is actually going, which can make a lot of Aquarians very astute, but not necessarily wealthy, because they don't always take that initiative. A lot of Aquarians believe they don't necessarily deserve financial success. You do. And you do in the sense of personal freedom. You do. If you go through periods of feeling surprisingly materialistic, Aquarius, it is only because you want to be free to expand. And you see it as this degrading thing. It's not. You are just expanding and you're working very hard and you're feeling little return. Be gentle with yourself, because Mars in Pisces is actually going to be very, very wonderful for your finances. But I think a lot of you could feel a little bit irked by the energy shifts. You will be quite sensitive in May, especially when it comes to new love or new friendships. There could be a strong sense of people that are currently entering your life being very healing for you. But you have to also be very careful that you don't put energies that you feel, particularly if you have Pisces in your chart, you do not react to energies with a need to self-medicate or a need to drink more. You have to be very careful of that in May. Would suggest if you could go teetotal, maybe not drink. Because the claustrophobia, the feelings of irritation that come in waves with Taurian energy, particularly the full moon in Scorpio, this need to have everything figured out at that moment. With Venus going retrograde on the 13th, you may not feel as good at glimpsing into the future as you usually do. Be careful then not to make big decisions based on romance or based on money or based on children. A lot of you may find yourself, for those of you that are looking to conceive, I think a lot of you may find yourself in that position. I think a lot of you would be quite nervous about it if you were. But whatever it is that you're creating, be it a child, be it a creative project, be it singing, be it anything that you want to create in your life, Aquarius, even if it's simply love, it's the process of drawing in love to your life in many forms. Whatever it is, you have to accept where you are right now. I'm not asking you at any time during May where you maybe have a bit of a dip, because the thing is, there's really, really lovely energies here. But I'm just talking about those moments where you feel a little bit out of sorts due to the Taurus sun and the Scorpio moon. You're not being asked to feel 100% better. You're not being asked to feel in a good space when you feel like things are shifting through your consciousness, when you feel like the energy is shifting and it's quite intense for you. You're only asked to accept it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to feel 100% if you don't, you know. With the Star and the Ace of Cups, something comes from your rebirthing moment which you love. Be it a person, be it a creative project, something that you wholeheartedly love with effortlessness. For a lot of you, it's a person, and for a lot of you, there is, dare I say, I think some of you would be quite successful in reconciling with somebody if there was an element of timing, particularly if it was an earth sign where there was stress due to work. It wasn't that somebody did anything toxic. There was something else external that just said not right now. For a lot of you, the Magician, the Six of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune is just that antithesis, because Venus will be in your sector of true love right until August. So a lot of Aquarians are finding that, quite simply. It's astrologically there. A lot of you are finding that. And for some of you, it feels a little bit like a journey of chutes and ladders, where you thought you found it, and you're right back to square one, and then you go up the ladder. Except between now and August, you win. Going to draw an oracle card before we get into the extended. See what we've got for Aquarius. Transformation, of course. Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. That's what it says on the tin. So I'm going to get into the extended using the animal magic, clarifying the cards, using the rest of this deck, and I will see you there, Aquarius. Be patient with yourself, be loving with yourself, be gentle with yourself. Gemini season, end of May into June, is going to be so good for you. Breathe through the waves of discomfort. You've got this. You're special. Go get it. See you later, Aquarius. Bye.